What's up, Buncombe? It's Abby, and today we're here to talk about Buncombe County, all its trials, its tribulations, and what we're going to do to make it better.
Raise a flag of liberty, the land of the free, rejecting tyranny.
Today I am here with Greg Parks, who is running for the Buncombe County School Board in District 1. How you doing today, Greg?
Fine. How about you?
I'm doing good. So the first thing that we're wanting to know, where is District 1?
So, District 1 is the previously known North Buncombe District. So, that includes your Alexander, Woodfin, Weaverville, Barnesville area, basically all the northern part of the county.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because the new voting districts, I know they can be a little confusing for people. So next off, who is Greg Parks?
Well, so first of all, I'm born and raised here in Western North Carolina. I'm from Haywood County, a graduate of Pisgah High School. I'm also a graduate of Mars Hill College, the last class before it became Mars Hill University. Uh, Most importantly, though, I'm a Christian. I'm a husband. I'm a father. And I'm also a coach. I work with the North Buncombe Youth League, coaching softball. Really love being out there, teaching the kids, working with them, seeing their bright faces every day. Just something I enjoy doing.
How long have you been coaching?
So I've been coaching for a few years now. It's a great organization out there. Proud that it's in my district that I'm running in for school board. I talk to those parents, I see those kids, and it just gives you shivers.
Yeah, so what made you interested in running for school board?
So I do have twin daughters, school aged here in Buncombe County, and I just want to be an example for them. It's easy to sit at home and complain or talk to your neighbor and not be happy with things, but I want to be that example of get involved, make a change. Don't just sit around and hope that somebody else will do it for you. Go out there, get involved, make a change, and be that example.
So, in saying that you're a Christian and that you want to be an example to your daughters, I'm a Christian as well, and I think about that saying, "Be the light that you wish to see in the world." How do you think that your Christian faith has influenced how you view things like politics and school boards and things like that?
Well, the biggest thing about my faith is that there is going to be accountability for your actions. We live in a world right now where there's basically two worldviews. There's one worldview where there's no repercussion for how you act. You can do whatever you want, anytime you want, to anybody you want, and you have no worries of what's going to happen. My faith, I feel like there is consequences to an almighty God, and that we should be more centered in our values and morals. We should, do things that are right. There is consequences for our actions, and we will be held accountable for that.
Absolutely, amen. So, you know, I'm curious, what do you think that the Buncombe County School Board is doing good right now?
So one of the things that I think that's going good in our school system here in Buncombe County is obviously the free lunch and breakfast program.
Hmm.
It's really, really good that our students have those meals, and that in today's economic times that parents don't have that less worry of having to buy lunches and breakfast for the children during school. Keeping that policy going has been a really, really great help for our system.
Yeah. So, is there anything that you see in the Buncombe County school system that's maybe not so good?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to some of the accountability. I think we have a lack of accountability in our system, and not just for behavior issues with students, and but also maybe with staff, and even with some school board members setting that example of you know being bullies. And I think we have some situations there where they've not acted appropriately, and I think kids have seen that and they feel that they can do that, and maybe
Hmm.
they create that unsafe, healthy learning environment. Also, our schools, we have several schools that are getting 60 plus years age on them, 70 plus years age on them. We really need to start talking about our infrastructure here for our elementary schools that are out in the rural parts of the county, like Barnesville, Lester. We need to make some serious upgrades.
Hmm.
We want to prepare our students for the future. We need to bring the future to them.
Yeah. So, in talking about the safety of kids, I'm sure that you're aware that there's been a lot of things in the news about students' outburst and, unfortunately, some teachers getting quite injured. So, as a member of the school board, how would you address these disciplinary problems that we're facing right now?
Well, it's a key theme I keep mentioning: accountability. We need to hold students accountable and to a higher standard. And when a student does something that's unacceptable and against our standards, there should be consequences for that. We need to push our administrators, our staff, to change the mindset of, oh, that's kids being kids, because that mindset allows things to progress and elevate to situations that we don't need to have. We don't need abuse of student on student or students to staff or staff to students or staff to staff. And, we need to have that accountability. There needs to be consequences for when we get out of those.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen the recent release of the school scores from the past year. 70% of our schools are, getting C's or lower on basic standardized testing. How do you think we need to approach this? What do you think we need to do differently?
Well, there's a big debate on those scores of how do they really represent an accurate view of our school system. Uh, you know, the fact of the matter is that's our guidelines. That's our standard that we have to meet. Whether we like how that's graded, how that's judged, it is what it is. Everybody has rules and guidelines you have to abide by. Those are the ones we have to abide by. I think some of the schools that's on that list that are struggling, if you look at where they're at and you ask yourself what are some of the causes of that, we have a lot of schools that second language is English. That's challenging. It's challenging for the students. It's challenging for the staff. It's challenging for the parents. Uh, and some schools are more heavily impacted about with that issue, based basically because of the demographics of our school district lines. And our school district lines, they haven't been looked at in several decades. It may be one of those things where we need to look at that and see if that's a contributing factor to some of these schools struggling, not because they're not in there putting in the work and doing what's right, but maybe they just have extra challenges that some of the other schools in the county don't have.
What do you think, as a school board member, what do you think that you bring differently to the table than the other people that are currently running?
Well, what I think I can bring different to the table is that in my profession, I'm real big about what's the root cause of the problem. You have to really identify the root cause to solve the issues. Problem solving. I'm really strong in problem solving. Uh, Currently, with our education system and with the folks we have on the school board now, they've been in education for 30 years, 40 years. They get tunnel vision, and they don't see the aspects of what the outside education environment could bring to the education system to make changes. You know, what kind of things, tools do we use in lean manufacturing skills that maybe we could apply to the education system? Uh, so I think having a different aspect from not being involved in education, I can bring that great problem solving skills and solution finding to the system.
Yeah. Um, so you're talking about, bringing key tools and manufacturing to what kind of tools?
So like I said, problem solving. There's things like five why analysis. There's 8D corrective actions. There's all kinds of tools that we use that we learn in education at a higher level. But I don't know if we're necessarily applying those tools that in the actual education system, which is kind of ironic. You're to be educated to use tools, but we don't use the tools maybe we
Yeah.
educate professionals on. Uh, and I think we need to get back to where we're driving that, even at the elementary school level. We should be doing these root cause analysis and identifying what really is a problem, and not just maybe throwing something at it that really isn't going to help.
I love that idea. Um, so, alongside of that, is there any pet projects that you would like to accomplish in your tenure on the school board?
So there's a lot to tackle.
Hmm.
Personally, I think my biggest focus is going to be creating that relationship with the community, getting the trust back from the parents that haven't had a voice for so long.
Hmm.
I want everybody to have a voice. Uh, Right now we're kind of tone deaf to, well, this is the way we do it. This is how we're going to do it. And, it overlooks a lot of great ideas and it gets to where folks don't even want to participate anymore. And I really want to get folks involved. We try to get them involved with the PTA and PTO meetings and the school improvement teams. But, when I look at a school improvement team and I look at the team, the ones that are involved are not necessarily your average community member, your average parent. They've always been involved with the schools. They've always been uh, in education, or they've been retired educators themselves. I want those folks that are new. I want new ideas. I don't want us to look at it the same way we've looked at it for decades.
So I know that you're aware of the new Title IX rewrites that have recently come before the Buncombe County School Board. Um, as a candidate for Buncombe County School Board, if you were on the board right now, what would your response be to that?
Well, from my research that I've done personally, and from some of the things I've heard from community members, I think there's a lot of discussion that needs to be had with this Title IX. I feel like maybe this is another one of those situations where big government is trying to push something down on the small government. And, as a school board representative, we have quite a bit of say in our policies. Now, sometimes we are just strapped by the law. I'm going to follow the law. It goes back to the accountability. State law, federal law. We're going to abide by those guidelines. But I think what we can do as a school board is that we can educate ourselves on those new restrictions or regulations, and we can make sure that our uh, faculty, our staff, our parents, our community understands that. And so that we can work together to create policies that fits everybody's needs, that meets the requirement of the law, and where we don't create a situation that we don't need to create when it doesn't exist now. We don't want to ever create discriminatory policies or anything like that. And currently, right now, I don't feel that we've had an issue with the Title IX restrictions, and I don't personally see the need for change. But I definitely want to have that collective conversation about that.
Yeah. Buncombe County in the recent years has rolled out a very expansive vocational program. And when I was in school, and I'm sure when you were in school, it was all about you need to go to college. You need to get a degree to get a good job. Now we're more so let's get back to trades. How do you feel about that?
Well, obviously, working in the manufacturing environment, I see the need for good vocational programs. And actually, I was a member of the Vocational Honor Society when I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I actually, I took carpentry and machine shop, and those were very critical to me helping decide what I wanted to do for a living. Ultimately, I decided coming out of high school that I wanted to go into the machining industry. I really liked what I learned in high school, and it helped me make a decision on taking machine shop at Haywood Community College, uh, getting a job here for a local manufacturing while I was going to school. Was very positive for me. It helped me earn money right away out of school while getting an education. Uh, you know, and as I worked many years in manufacturing, I tend to grow, and I thought, okay, well, is this still something that I want to do? 50, 60 years from now, do I want to do this? And I made a decision to go back to school again while I was still working in that original career path that I chose to pursue the opportunity to move into management and higher up roles in the company, and I was able to do that, and it's worked well for me. So, having those vocational classes, those shop classes, the mechanic classes, even things like home ec and those kind of classes, drafting and stuff, we have a need for that. It's not going to go away. Uh, how we use those skills and the tools we use may change, but we still need that basic understanding of that.
Yeah. So, how important is it for you, do you think, that local businesses, they offer up these apprenticeships to local students who are trying to get into these trades?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the company I work for, it's a struggle, like everyone else here in Montgomery County, is finding folks to come work, because working in a manufacturing environment, sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's dirty, Uh, you know, the hours aren't necessarily great, depending if you're on off shift or not sometimes. So yeah, given being able to provide opportunities for students maybe that aren't planning on going to school or they really don't know what they want to do, getting them in the door and letting them kind of see if it's for them, it's great. And you know, even being isolated out in certain parts of the county, it's hard just to get people to come out for interviews. So if we
Yeah.
know we can get students to come out, they may find a career path there that gives them opportunities down the road to do more, just as I have personally experienced myself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super important. And so as a member of the school board, how do you think that you can facilitate that? Get that message out?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is that I can speak from personal experience with that. I'm an example. Look,
Hmm.
you know, I didn't choose to go the 4 year college route right out of high school. I didn't have the 4.0 or 3.0 GPA out of high school. I got my grades passed because I played sports. I wanted to make sure I got good grades, but I didn't really focus on my studies there. But I focused on other things that gave me valuable skills, and being able to speak from that personal experience to a student that maybe is looking to go that path. To me, that goes a lot further in life when you can actually be real with an individual. You're not making this up. You've actually done it. You've lived it, and they can see that in that conversation and feel the passion about it, and maybe get excited about it.
So, moving on to preparing students for the future, there's a lot of talk about AI right now. That's a huge buzz topic. So, people are I've heard the quote several times that we're one bad day away from a Terminator movie. And as funny as, the joke may seem, it's really serious, and being in the education world, do we have a classroom one day that's going to be taught by a robot? Or, right now they're just using AI to cheat on homework. But what are your views on this?
So I'm glad you brought that topic up. It's actually a topic I feel like it's kind of not getting the attention it needs. Who would have thought decades ago that everybody would have a little electronic device that they carry around with them that could, basically can give them information about anything they want at any time.
Hmm.
So yes, change can happen. Change can happen very quick in our classrooms. You mentioned a future where are our students taught by artificial intelligence. We need to consider that as a possibility. I mean, we already have staffing issues. It's harder and harder to find individuals that want to go into the education field, whether they say it's for pay or benefits, or they just don't feel comfortable in that environment anymore with some of the things that's happened. We may realistically one day be looking at a classroom that's being taught uh, remotely by some kind of artificial software. Uh, and that's scary. Uh, but I also think it leans towards the future that we have. You know, who would have thought we might have that opportunity? If we'd have had those kind of opportunities during the COVID situation, that might have been a outlet for a lot of folks who didn't want to go back to school, or who didn't feel comfortable sending their kids to school,
Hmm.
or even wanting to make their kids wear masks because of repercussions from that. Maybe we could have been in the forefront of that. We could have offered another solution for those individuals. Uh, as far as the Terminator terminology, I've seen those movies. I don't think we'll get to that kind of a
No,
level,
no.
hopefully. But it's definitely something that we need to be talking about now, and we need to be getting on the forefront of this and not letting it just show up at our door.
Yeah. So, we're talking about the ways that AI can negatively impact education. Do you think there's any ways that AI could positively impact education?
So positively, it doesn't get sick.
Hmm.
It does it. It changes. It evolves. It doesn't only remember how to do math problems one way.
Hmm.
It can show you how to do them multiple ways, and we all learn different ways. I'm one of those folks who I can sit down and read a article or read a book word for word, and then I can sit down and watch the movie or a news clip about it, and I learn a lot more from the visual video audio than I do from the book. So with AI, it's the same thing. You know, if you have a AI system that can actually demonstrate what they're talking about at the same time, you know, the possibilities of being able to interpret that, you know, is beyond reality right now. You
Yeah.
know, so it would be great, definitely. You know, okay, let's go do this quadratic equation, and you know, it's telling you and showing you, and you can follow along and know exactly when you mess up. I mean, it's some good possibilities there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, we really appreciate you coming out. We appreciate your time this afternoon. So, in closing, do you have anything else that you'd like to say?
Yeah, I actually do have some comments I'd like to end on, and
Okay.
that's just that, you know, I I chose to get in this to be fully involved. You
Hmm.
know, I have a lot of energy. You know, I still consider myself fairly young. You know, even though I'm in my 40s, uh, and you know, I think having that excitement could really bring a lot of regeneration to our school system. You know, unfortunately, some of our current members we have now, you know, they've been in those positions so long uh, that they've just kind of gotten comfortable and they're not really looking for change. They like the status quo. And in today's climate, you've got AI coming, you know, that could totally change the landscape of education. You've got all kinds of new inventions and things that can happen every day. You've got advancements in the medical field, field. I mean, just things are evolving very fast, very quick. And I think, you know, we need to be on the forefront of that. We don't need to be sitting back, uh, being comfortable. Well, this is how we've always done it, status quo. We need to get out there and be energetic about looking to the future. You know, we always say we're preparing our futures for tomorrow, for the future. Are we really, or are we still focused on what we've done for the last 16 years that we've been sitting here? So you know, I want to get in there. I'm highly motivated, and I just want to create a positive change for our school system.
Awesome. So, can you tell, your constituents where they can find more out about you?
Yeah, so you can find out more about me on my Facebook page, Greg Parks for Buncombe County Board of Education, District 1. I've got some posts up there, a little bit of my bio information there. Feel free to message me. I will get back to you, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thanks.